welcome to the next episode of KapVista Klips. Today we have Stephen from Hazel, who you might remember from an earlier episode. He's come back on to give us a recap on what Hazel's been up to. How are you, Stephen? How's things going?
Good, good. How are you doing?
Good, good, good. Yeah, excited to get the update because the last time we spoke, you were doing some really interesting things, and now we want to sort of see where you've been. But before we get into that, just give us a recap on who you are and your story leading up to Hazel, and then what is Hazel?
Yeah, so I guess just to share more about my background, started my career in management consulting. I always knew that I wanted to be a part of mission-driven companies. Ended up breaking into startups and doing kind of anything and everything, but I guess on paper, traditional kind of finance roles, right? So FP&A, IR work, so on and so forth. And yeah, kind of agnostic of industry, always been consumer facing, whether it was manufacturing, e-commerce, 3D printing, even meal kits. Was fortunate enough to be a part of a company called Plated here in the US, similar to HelloFresh and Blue Apron. Joined very, very early on, scaled the business to around 100 million in top line, and then we ended up exiting the business to Albertsons, which is a major grocer here. Um, and yeah, kind of after that experience and sort of what led to the genesis of Hazel was the role that I kind of took after that. So I helped found a social club that was really focused on people over 50. And as you can imagine, just based on those conversations, realized that, the adult incontinence or the bladder leakage space was just really needed to, kind of attack with a fresh pair of eyes.
Awesome, awesome. So, give us a brief intro to Hazel for those of us who don't know the story. What is it that you do, and then talk about the last 12 months. How have you sort of shaped the business ready for that the next explosion?
Yeah, so I do have some props. For those not familiar with the category, this is like the best of the best. This is a very obviously frumpy looking, crinkly product. It is the adult diaper space, and just to kind of give some overview on the category, I really see it as that last aisle that hasn't been disrupted in retail. We've obviously seen baby diapers and razors and kind of all those spaces be disrupted in the last decade. This is a space that it's pretty much, owned by a duopoly, P&G and Kimberly-Clark here in the US. And, on a global basis, it's estimated to be around, call it 14 to 18 billion. And it's continuing to grow kind of indefinitely, 8 to 10% year on year, which is like, kind of unheard of in such a mature category in CPG. And really, we saw that this consumer has no choice, right? No one wants to wear this. And that's really where Hazel came to be. How do we, kind of tackle this category and be that third brand on shelf, and do, what we've seen work in the past. So on our side, we ended up working with, material scientists from Johnson and Johnson, as well as traditional fashion designers to really kind of, reimagine this category. And this is our product here. As you can see, it's super slim. It's black. It looks like textile. It absorbs just as much as the leading products, and it absorbs 3 times faster. But it's not anything that's out there in the market. And in short, we ended up really developing our own suite of materials as well as our own manufacturing to kind of support this. So, it's not just a new brand that's entering the category. It's really, new IP that this consumer hasn't seen before.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the difference. You're right. It's an industry that is overlooked by a lot of major corporations. It's overlooked by investors, but it is growing because we are an aging population, right? So,
That's right.
and making something that is not is discreet, is looks like your normal underwear. It doesn't stand out. It gives it gives people their life back, which is an incredible product. So tell us about the last 12 months. You made some big changes in the company, but your pipeline, and you're poised to really take off. And tell us what investors need to know.
Yeah. So we spent the last 12 months, really ensuring that we were retail ready. While we launched on D2C, the reality is, in order to kind of change the narrative of this category and, be where this consumer is, retail is a must, right? About 85 to 90% of all personal care is done offline, whether it's this category or, toothpaste, deodorant, so on and so forth. So this is our retail package that will be hitting shelves. This is just one version. It's each size has a unique model on it, but yeah, outside of being retail ready from like a packaging and standpoint, ensuring from a capacity and supply chain standpoint, we could handle all of the volume. So we made significant investments on our side to be able to scale up the business. Just to kind of give some insight, on a monthly basis, we can produce roughly like 2 million units, which is needed, right? Again, the landscape of retail here is very vast. And I guess on that note, we spent the last 12 months really aligning ourselves with retail partners that want to change the narrative of this category together. So in terms of the retailers that are confirmed, and I guess that we can actually speak to, it's a few of them. So the first being Meyer. We'll be launching with them in April. They're, for those that aren't familiar with them, they're a, call it $20 billion top line retailer here in the US, concentrated in the Midwest. They kind of look like a Target or a Walmart. So we'll be launching with them. And then outside of them, in terms of those that we can talk about, we're launching within a Kroger banner. So specifically Fred Meyer, which is really, really exciting, given that Kroger is the number one grocer in the United States. So just being able to kind of break into that is just a testament to what we're doing. And then there are some other retailers, including H-E-B, Wegmans, and outside of them, we have some more in the pipeline that we're waiting to kind of hear final word. But in short, we will most likely be like 2,000 doors of distribution by year end.
Wow, that's incredible, and that provides, in my opinion, provides confidence to investors who are looking at a company that is at the bottom of the hockey stick and ready to really, really explode. So talk to me about the capital raise. You put significant investment into really setting up this base, and having a really solid foundation. Now you're looking to raise capital to fuel the growth and take the company into these $2,000 by year end. Tell me about how much you're raising, what's that being used for, and what's the momentum for that?
Yeah, so with this raise, we're raising $2 million, and like to your point, we made sure on our end we kind of ticked all the boxes, right? Not only have differentiated brand, product, which is all patent protected, assembled a best in class team, and really kind of unlocked that distribution. Like given the stage that we're at right now, it's closing in on that capital for that growth, right? And we're ready to go. So really excited kind of on all of those fronts. And in terms of how we're going to put these dollars to work, outside of expanding a few key members of the team, including bringing, a fractional head of sales on full time. We'll be, using the funds to obviously support our go-to-market efforts, right? We want to make sure that, we kind of earn our keep on shelf, right? Like these agreements that we have in place are obviously for a year's time, but making sure that we're getting in the hands of different consumers, and then from there, using these as proof points and case studies to expand into other retailers. And that's really how we kind of see this category. It's a land grab, right? It's
Yeah.
not just being in one retailer, it's kind of going after the next, especially that it's the same dynamics, right? Very, very little choice on shelf. And yeah, outside of some of those core activities, further investing in R&D, as well as supply chain activities.
Okay, perfect. And then, before we sign off on this and close it off, what do you think, from your opinion, is something that investors should highlight? Give me your milestones, your top 5 points about the business, right? Because you have taken the last 12 months to have build that solid foundation, as I said, and make yourself the most as attractive as possible for investors to know. So what should they know about Hazel?
Yeah, I think ultimately, at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're building $1 billion business here, right? The reality is, I think a lot of CPG that you see coming out nowadays is a white labeled product, and that's something we're not. We really invested in ensuring that we had differentiated IP, and we use our D2C engine as a testing ground to find product market fit, right? Like while obviously we tested our product on hundreds of consumers before launching, the reality is we really needed thousands and thousands of data points because believe it or not, this is a very technical product. It's made of around 12 different unique materials, which 6 we've developed ourselves and are kind of unique to the Hazel name. Yeah, in addition to making sure that we're retail ready, it was taking all that customer feedback and making improvements, right? So as you can imagine, ensuring that fibers are moisture wicking, she's getting as much protection as she needs, kind of so on and so forth. And yeah, I think what's just a huge testament to the differentiation that we're bringing to market here is just the ability to unlock retail. I think with all of the retailers that we have in the pipeline, the sentiment has basically been I think buyers have just been wowed, as you can imagine, right? Like the buyers in this category, they've seen the same brands, year after year, right? They had not seen any change. So with us just kind of, coming across their desk, we've had no problem in getting in front of, every major retailer that you can think of. And yeah, we're using this year to kind of make our foray into retail and just continue to expand from there.
Okay, brilliant. So we'll I won't keep too much of your time. Thank you very much for jumping on. I think what you've built and what you've created is a product that serves a massive market and it's only getting bigger. I think investors who are looking for a consumer product and are trying to find the right one, I think they're onto a winner with this one, and that's my opinion. But if anybody who is watching this video wants to know more, I'll put the details below and reach out to me and I can connect you directly to Stephen and his team. But thank you very much for jumping on. It's great to chat, great to get an update, and I'm excited to see what's next.
Awesome. Thanks again for your time here, Daniel.
No problem.